Know what that music means? It means it's Friday. It means it's Free Speech Friday. When we get a couple of free-speaking New Zealanders and we chew over a few of the events of the recent week. And this morning, who have we got? Well, ladies first. Tina Nixon joins us. Tina, you coming to lunch later?
No, I'm back on my way to the Wairarapa. I'm really sad, yeah.
You are just
I spent a wonderful day yesterday. I just have to put a wee mention out for Brewtown in Upper Hutt. What an amazing venue. And they put through 8,000 people in 1 month.
God, okay. All right.
It's amazing.
Tell them to send me the cheque. Mark, joining us from Dunedin. Our man in Dunedin, former journalist, former lobbyist, public relations person, and freethinker, Mark Champion. How are you, Mark?
Well, I'm good, Sean. You got the wrong theme there. You should have played something from the Village People after the big costume dramas this week.
In Parliament, yeah. Well, okay, let's start there, guys. Let's start there, and I want to acknowledge your whakapapa, Tina. And we had a few dress-ups. Actually, I'll tell you what. Let's first look at the Pāti Māori. Very colourful. Were they, if you like, culturally appropriate and accurate costumes they were wearing?
Look, I'm not an expert in costumes. I've seen that sort of headdress before, but it doesn't... I mean, if he wants to wear it, it's up to him. If he wants to look like a dickhead, he did. And, I don't have a problem. What I do have a problem with, though, is journalists like Mikey Sherman on TV1 trying to make out that Te Pāti Māori has this huge amount of support and talks for all Māori. It's bullshit. They only got 2% of the vote. Yes, they won those electorates, but they do not speak for Māori.
No, even that. And I noticed, Mark, next day, we had Rawiri Waititi back wearing the incredibly culturally appropriate akubra.
Yeah, I'm still trying to kind of unpack this because, the address and reply debates from both the Greens and Te Pāti Māori, you'd have to go back and have a look at the election result because one would be led to believe that they were now in government. Their power had suddenly burgeoned, and they were often running on control of the country.
Well, I'll tell you what. I looked at the spin-off coverage on it, the spin-off address and speech from the throne, and their lead headline was Chris Hipkins attacks Labour, attacks National,
saw that.
And they didn't even mention the content of the speech from the throne.
No, we're straying into another territory, and I think we should go there.
Okay, we'll go there later. Okay, let's keep going on the dress-ups. And I think, did the Māori Party, did they get it by text and it said dress and reply?
They've got no... They're also sort of like hypocrites because they sort of say, the Crown's shit and we don't agree with the Māori the king, and then turn around and then suddenly the Māori king's right up their ass saying, hey, we're going to have this big meeting next year because all the stuff around the treaty's bad. And so they're playing both sides here, and so they like the idea of a royalty within Māoridom, but they don't respect the one that's Pākehā. How does that work?
And at the end of the day, they will all talk no trousers on not swearing allegiance to the, the Crown,
Look,
wouldn't they?
I think I don't remember who it was that said it, but after 56 years, the Greens/values still haven't had a seat around the cabinet table. Now, that's what I really call power mongering,
Yeah. Look, well, let's move on. Let's stay with the dress-ups. And after my experience yesterday and what I saw yesterday at the Israeli embassy, I find this actually more offensive as a human being and as a New Zealander that, 5 or 6 of the Green MPs put on the keffiyeh or the huffa.
Yeah.
And they wore that on one of the most sacred days of our parliament, of our democracy. And there is no doubt that is now the uniform of Hamas, who I believe this government should, before Christmas, declare a terrorist organisation. What were they thinking? Why do people do that? Why do they do it, Tina? What's in it for them?
I think it speaks to their audience and to their voters and the young who are definitely pro-Palestinian And so that's why they do it. I was deeply offended by it. And it's like Parliament is about discussing ideas and future and policy and stuff like that. It's not for that sort of stuff. I just do not see it as that sort of for that sort of stuff. And it just looked bad.
I think it's akin to wearing a swastika. I think it's akin.
No, I don't think it's that bad.
Oh, I think it's worse, Tina.
No, because that scarf is worn by ordinary Palestinians too. It's not just the cloak of Hamas, but they're wearing it in a way that I think is way too provocative.
Mark?
Look, I think that, I'm sorry to be serious about this, but I think it comes down to respect. And if there's no respect in the House of Parliament, then where are we going to find it? You know, respect for so many institutions has eroded. The media have simply no respect now for balance, and we can see it right across the board. And if this is the signal that we're sending about what respect means and where you can find it, then for me, it's a real issue. And I think it comes down to, you know, Jerry, you've got to get that hat off that bloke. Because I was brought up to take my hat off inside.
Yep.
And I don't know what's changed. And I do think that just a little thing like that, which is there to create provocation, it's not there as some cultural icon. It's there to create provocation.
It has no actual cultural relevance. It's not.
No.
You know.
No, it's a cowboy.
I mean, I think if he wants to wear the feather thing, knock yourself out. I'd love to see him up at 3.2 or over at the backbencher wearing that.
Here's another thing too. I mean, and this is I've never seen that. Like when you're in a marae setting and stuff, the bow ties come off. You know, the hats come off in a marae setting,
and your shoes come off.
Sitting there. Yeah, so, and that's a gentlemanly thing, and you know, I know all the gender debates and all that sort of thing, but it speaks to what Mark is saying around respect. And so he's sort of like, it's just a shot across the bow of everything, really.
Yeah, it's a middle finger.
It's childish, absolutely childish.
And it's only 2.5% of the vote, and our woke media, our mainstream media, just it's almost as if they're the proxy, because they'll run up to the politicians and say, "Oh, the Maori Party says you're the most racist government ever," which is really the mainstream media wanting to say, "We think you're the most racist government ever," to put them on the spot. It's pathetic, actually.
Well,
and I think it around pretty much by James Meagher's speech too. James Meagher's speech really.
Hey, look, guys, before we go there, let's take a break. I've got to pay for the money I don't pay you for coming on.